Okay, hello. How's everyone doing? It's been a while, I think.
Hello.
I've not been on for at least 2 weeks, maybe 3, and probably the same for you.
I've been probably longer than that, I think. Been off and about. How is everybody doing? Who have we got with us today then? We've got Scooby Hayes, we've got Big Timer, we've got Joe Cooper, we've got Mr. Daft Badger, we've got Caroline. Hi Caroline. What's up Stuart? How's it going? Hi Cruzel and Alive Fantasy. There's a few names picked out for you. Hello Ryan. And hi to Brian as well. Who could forget Brian?
Hello, Brian.
How's it going? So Stephen, what have you got lined up to show us today?
Starting with some predator fishing on. Can't decide on canal or Bergsea. I don't want to do Bergsea because there's some trout in there as well.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll start with Bergsea and see where we go from there. I might be sitting too far back. But yeah, how's everyone doing? What have we missed in our absence?
Did Mark and Darren get to catch any fish for you? When they've done a couple of streams, haven't they?
Yes, they're on the launch stream for Tournament Bass Pack. Who's got the Bass Pack? Who's
got the Bass Pack? What's your biggest catches on there? Any thoughts or feedback? Let me know. What sort of setup are you taking in then, Stephen? We're going with a mixed bag, are we?
That's my mix box. Let's go.
So what are we going to target? We're going to target some predators.
Yes.
So we're going to stick a dead bait out, are we?
Yep. Get a lure out there as well. Really don't have a lot of stuff on here.
Caroline's asking if you had a nice time off last week, Stephen.
I didn't really do a whole lot, which in itself is quite nice. Yeah, it was a good week.
Stephen's not too long ago passed his driving test, so he's getting used to being
an adult,
and a proper adult, and mobile, and enjoying the freedoms that brings. Bless him. Mine, on the other hand, was over 20 years ago, so that kind of puts my age bracket up there for you.
Did you have to do the theory when you passed?
No. That was part that you just sat in the car and he asked you some questions. It wasn't going into a test room or anything like that these days.
Doing the theory actually felt like being back at school when you have an exam, because they tell you like phones off and all possessions in a locker. So it's just weird. I didn't actually change the box I was using.
Caroline's got the pack on Xbox and on PlayStation.
That is dedication.
That is dedication. Right, so we're going with a fish, the whole dead fish out on rod 1. Good cast in there.
I've always said I can use mouse and PS4 controller for total cast, but not Xbox. That one was a bit far out.
You've luzzed that one out, haven't you?
Well, that's probably a similar distance. Don't need to be that far out. Oh god. This is why I don't do total cast control with Xbox.
So Ryan is saying we need more carp lakes, and Brian said he's not buying it because there's too many bass lakes. Zeal2 UK has all the DLC. Cool. Good work. Cool Rob has got a 17-pound trout out of there. That's
nice.
Pretty big trout. Musaka says a really good job on the DLC. There is tons of bass. Well, that's what they are. It's tournament bass lakes. There are 2 lakes on the regularly used on the big tours. So yes, lots of lots of good bass fishing to be had. K12's asking me when I'm going to come to Arkansas. I don't know when my next trip stateside is, or or exactly what my next trip is. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be something coming up soon.
Yep, nothing on at the moment.
So Chris is asking, need to have an option where you can fish for a target fish. I'm forever trying to fish for trout and salmon and always catching bass. Now, I want to hear from people who go and target trout and salmon in the real world, and what tactics you use, and which of those tactics you'd like to see replicated in game. Now, I do have some small little spinners coming up that are going to be better for targeting trout and salmon, but the bass can still take those. So when it comes to setting up the lures as to which fish species take them, basically the controls I've got, if I just explain that to you, so say I've got a lure, whatever it is, lure X, I can say that each fish species, a weight between 0.5 kilograms and 3 kilograms would take this lure, and then with a different file I can then change the weighting, so the chance of that fish taking that lure. So those are the sort of the controls I've got at the moment. And so like I said, I am working with on some spinners, some smaller sort of spinners that are better for trout and salmon. I nearly called them strout to just mix them all up into one. But yes, the bass can still take them, and it does come down to a numbers game, depending on sort of how many of each species are in that particular area of the lake that you're fishing at the time.
I need to restart the stream a sec.
Stream.
Apparently.
Stephen's just pressing some buttons, trying to get the stream working. So it's working for everyone on YouTube, we think, and then potentially not on Mixer.
Yeah.
That looked like Fran.
It did.
That seems to be working, but it's quite a way behind.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll give it a restart and see what that does. We'll be back in a sec.
5-inch gizzard spoon. So yes, the spoons are.
Are we back again?
Currently the best the best in the game. Spoons and some spinner baits are I would recommend at the moment for targeting those. I'm always looking at ways in which that I can add to the game, which are going to allow you to target, species as much as possible. But obviously, we try and base the way it works in the game on how it works in real life. So short of having certain areas that I've only got the salmon in, or I've only got the trout in and not got the bass in, it's kind of hard to completely rule out the bass, those hungry bass taking those baits. Right, we've got first fish on here.
Yes.
With a lure?
Yes. Tournament mix-ups was me. The first one I'd set as thingies and forgot that we'd removed the little indicators to show what was there, and then the article explaining that they were there wasn't put out. So, and then the second one I got caught in between wanting to put Gillums and Gigantica as the thing, and ended up as kind of a mix of both. So
Hashtag blame Stephen.
I'm curious, do you think Gillums would make a good carp venue considering the times it can take to catch like the Siamese in there?
So what, you'd probably catch 4 or 5 in an hour, maybe slightly more than that.
If you don't just target the commons. And then the other question we have for you guys is, how many people be in favour of seeing Largo on Bass in DFL?
You want Largo? Yes. Do you want to see the Spanish lake, Largo del Mundo, which does have bass in it? Featured in the Big Bass Tour as part of the DFL. We haven't had that one on there yet. So yeah, like Stephen mentioned, what we were trying to do with that Predator event was to make it muskie and pike and chain pickerel only.
Pike family, basically.
Sort of, yeah, the members of the pike family. We will do that again, but yeah, we need to get the localization and the text changes and the images done so it's clear to you guys before you go into the event that there are different rules involved. But yeah, any other suggestions like that, like a muskie type event on a specific lake, then do let us know and we can get it planned in for the October season. I think we can start planning that now.
I also thought about a trout and salmon event on Miller or Boulder, because I think they've both got them all.
Yep.
No eels yet.
We could do. We could do a sort of crappie sort of panfish related event. That's another option. You could do a specific catfish one on Bestie or something like that. So yeah, we can't. So so Misaka's asking about being able to tweak the time at Gillam's, saying 20 minutes for a CARP tournament on that lake is not long enough. So it's not as easy as just changing the timer, because that obviously the scores that your AI opponents are getting are kind of all sort of set. If we simply allowed you more time, then you're going to be getting it basically throws all the balancing out, and you're going to be getting much bigger scores than the AI. So we need to sort of think about a sensible plan for that longer term. Darth Badger wants a perch only event.
We could do that.
We could do a perch only event. Darth Badger, would that be? Should we go? We'll go Predator or match. Predator or match on that? I wonder. Both chats showing on YouTube. Scooby and Ryan are asking for freshwater rays in Gillam's. It was funny. While I was at Gillam's, this guy, I think he was from Malaysia. That was a big jump.
Yes.
He had this. He caught a ray, and it was quite amusing actually. Well, he hooked one anyway. But what they do is they you basically have to keep them moving, and you have to keep them off the bottom. And this guy hadn't kept this ray off the bottom, and it basically, it's got a big wide wingspan on it, and it just stuck to the bottom, and he couldn't lift it, and you couldn't lift it, get under it. So one of the guides had to go out there with this giant pole that must have been 15 meters long. So he swum out into the middle of the lake with this giant stick, and he's kind of floating there in the middle doing doggy paddle. And he's getting the stick, and he's trying to move this. He's trying to use the end of the stick to get this ray moving. And he's like, right, when I get it moving, you got to keep reeling and pump into the. He said to the guy, and he gets it, but he's like, right, it's good moving, it's moving, and he's trying to fight it again, and then the fish moves about another 10, 15 meters, stops again, gets stuck to the bottom, and this went on about 3 or 4 times for about 40 minutes. Eventually they got it kind of near to the bank, and then it snapped off. But yeah, so I don't know. It's quite yeah. I have to have a think about getting those rays in there. It's quite sort of different sort of fish behaviour and gameplay mechanics that sort of come along with them. It was interesting. You watch them swim around the side of the lake as they're going round, and they basically like the side where you've got all the pegs are set up along there. They kind of go there, and they go along with one of their sort of fins up along the edge, and they're basically knocking snails off the plants that are there, and they knock the snails off and eat them as they swim around. It was quite it was quite funny. It was like the guides that work there basically hate it when you catch a ray, because it just means they've got to get in the water and it's loads of hassle and try to actually net them and get them off the hook is quite hard work. Right. So back to my question. Darth Badger reckons Predator would be better. Iceman reckons either for perch. Duke Spook wants a Steve Irwin skin for players. When we get the crocodiles in, maybe, and the alligators. Right.
I can't remember which forum it was on recently. I saw people asking for chub, like a kind of renewed wave of interest in.
Renewed wave, yeah. Yes. The chub. Yeah.
Getting all cosy.
What's the angling tycoon trophy? Hanu, on YouTube's asking, he's not getting the Angling Tycoon trophy on PS4. I don't know the answer to that one. I will have to have a look, and Stephen will have to do some investigations with the QA guys and check that, Hanu. You can play the game in first person Canal Simulador. There you go. Stephen just demonstrated that. It's the
view button.
The view button on the Xbox controller, or on the PlayStation controller. It's the one which is the touchpad. The big sort of square block of button in the middle of the controller is the PlayStation button to change it.
And PC is V.
I look out a live fantasy saying put the River Medway in the game. Now that's why I don't have to go too far.
Got a big boat there at the moment, haven't they?
Yeah, it looks. I see the River Medway all day long from my desk. It's rather murky and quite fast flowing. Don't really see much fishing going on down there, but maybe that's just this point.
A bunch of people that have boats they fish like on a daily basis. See them all hooked up, or set up with their rods off the back of the boat.
K12 is asking me for a timeline on the blue and flathead catfish. I don't have any dates to give you there, so I can't give you any more information on that, I'm afraid, at the moment. Big Time is asking about any answers for the fish icon getting stuck around the docks and rocks, etc. You got a fish on too?
Raz was having a look at that, wasn't he?
My gameplay engineer was having a look at that. So we would, yeah. I think it's. We think we have an idea what the change that went in and introduced the chance of that happening. So we are looking to raise that chance of that happening. So when I get a target release for that fix, I will let you know. Iceman Streamer is asking me if I can get use my bus pass to get down there. Yes, I heard that. I did hear that Sam and Aaron basically stitched me up on the stream the other week and told my story of after fishing 8 hours in the rain out in Lake Tarpon out in Florida. Yeah, me and my gameplay programmer were out there with Chuck. We didn't have a good week weather-wise. Unheard of, I think, almost for Florida to have pretty much 4 days continuous overcast and cloudy and rainy. The recommendation was that we didn't go fishing, but we were there, so we went fishing anyway. We caught a few fish, but yeah, I got dropped off back at a Wendy's so I could get an Uber back to the hotel, and the young girl basically gave me my coffees for free because she thought I was a senior. She said coffees are free for seniors. We did laugh, but yeah.
Inside he was crying.
I did look wet and dishevelled. I looked like an old man that had basically was a bit had maybe wet himself. I had this grey t-shirt on that was kind of like soaked. I had like a few days extra beard growth, greyness coming through. Just looked like I'd been out in the rain all day, like some sort of tramp that lives down the park. Yes, so. But hey, I got the coffees for free. That's what matters. That's what matters. Oh dear. Well, the woman in the off license the night before, because I take, when I go to America, I have to carry my driving license around because you never know when you're going to get ID'd for buying beer or something. And the woman in the off license the night before, she was like, "No, I don't need to ID you. I think you're all right." And she said she pegged me between 29 and 39. So I think
So you've averaged out to about your age.
Yeah, because I looked it up. The Wendy's senior discount applies to when you're 55 and over. Hashtag beards.
When we were there for ICAST, they just kept thinking we were Australian.
Yes. So Misaka's asking about beards and bald guys in the game. We all want beards. I don't have a date or timeline for you yet, I'm afraid. But as always, it's on my massive wish list. I think they're just all really scared of getting sued or getting in trouble. I think that's why they ask for the ID all the time. Get their licenses taken away.
Yeah, alcohol laws are really strict, aren't they?
So there's a few people asking for St John's Lake. Ooh. Big Timer wants a stock pond, eels, bait boats, beards, and pimp my peg. Pimp my peg. Okay, X Mason X says we need to check the bandit crankbaits, not dive in the correct depth as they would do in real life. Okay, thanks Mason. I will check that out. Can you make a note of that? Bandit.
I think it's in the feedback sheet.
Is it? Bandit crankbaits.
Saw someone mention it the other day. I put it in the sheet.
So Joe's asking, is there any cheating going on in the tourneys? 1,000 plus inches in predator fish in an hour is not possible. So I do not believe there is any cheating going on in the online events. I've never caught 1,000 inches in an hour, but I'm sure there's people watching this stream who probably have. So, though, you guys feel free to chip in on the comments and explain how it's done. But whenever we've looked at extreme scores in the past, we've analysed the rate at which the caught fish data arrives at the server, checking that each fish is a different size and that it's not just somebody spamming it with the same. If they'd worked out how to do it and spamming it with the same data, it's nothing like that. They're unique fish, they're unique catches, they are doing it. some people are just very, very good at this game. So I assure you, there's no one cheating. I have no evidence to suggest that anyone has or can cheat in the DFL at all. Now, by doing things like we were discussing earlier, where we set, we reduce the range of species. Hopefully, more targeted events like that might mean that might sort of make it a bit closer, and we possibly won't have some people out and out there in the far ahead. But so as we can see in the chat there, it's definitely possible. Big Timer J comes with the helpful advice of get good, and Scooby comes with practice, practice, practice. So we don't have spoiling problems with the barbel. I mean, the best lakes for those is probably Lago del Mundo. Barbel go big in Spain. They are more plentiful than in the canal. The reason I think that there aren't, in that section of the Grand Union Canal, there isn't loads of barbel. We've put some in there. I might look at increasing the numbers, because I know a lot of you are going there looking for them and not having too much success. So just for fun, I might look at increasing those numbers. But yeah. Not 1,000 fish in an hour. He's talking about 1,000 inches or centimetres of fish. The length of the fish, Hank. Not 1,000 fish in an hour.
Need big net for. My phone is ringing.
So Caroline's saying a boat with a rod rest on would be good. I agree. And it's something I've been looking into a bit lately. Ben Rogerson's asking for rod bending and pike jumping. So one of the companies I went and visited a few weeks back was a rod manufacturer. I was talking with their rod designers and the guys that sort of deal directly with the factory that make the rods, and we were looking in depth at the ways the rod bends and how they're currently bending in game, and so we have a plan for how to change that and improve that. So more news on that in the future when I have it. So Nathan is asking, why did the pike take so long? They used to be good value in predator tournaments, and now they are pointless. So what's there is a change we are testing at the moment that reduces a couple of things relating to fish fights, or alters a couple of things relating to fish fights. There are a number of sort of systems that sort of working together with each other. One of those being energy, so the amount of fit energy that a fish of a certain species at a given size will have, and then another factor that is used is the resistance. So how long does it take you to bring that fish a bit closer, which is sort of separate to energy. It's kind of like how well the fish can hold its ground. So some changes that happened in that area does appear to have had the effect of making nice trout, Stephen, making some of the fights a bit longer than intended. So I'm looking to bring that back in line. Now we have a update in submission at the moment. It's the change I'm talking about now isn't included in that one. It's most likely going to be in the next update, which puts it coming out in around 6 or 7 weeks or something like that, I would say. So Gilroy's asking for pole holders on the boat to troll for fish. Has anybody ever seen people using bite alarms on boats? Just out of curiosity. So obviously Caroline's asking about rod rests on boat. Gilroy's asking about pole holders to be able to troll for fish. Now, obviously with the trolling, you would really want the pole holders to be at the back, with the rod rests and being able to put multiple rods down. That's sort of generally a different style of fishing to the trolling, so you're going to probably want the rods potentially in a different place, maybe towards more around the front of the boat and stuff like that, and you're probably more likely to be static on the boat there. You found your spot and then you're then trying to fish for catfish or carp or whatever it is from that boat. So yeah, any if anyone's got any good examples of fishing for carp and catfish from boats, then let me know. So Big Timer Jay's asking me to make the pike jump and tail walk. Yes, that would be nice. I would like that. My animator has quite a list of tasks that we're waiting on, and that he's working his way through. So I'm going to have to see when that can get done. So Wobbly Captain, yeah, he's asking about to update the trolling, so you can easily troll off the back of the boat and see where you're going. He keeps crashing the boat. I mean, which is what obviously I do as well when you're trolling and you can't see which direction you're going. Now, the boat that you've got in the game there is a bass boat. It's they are designed to be bass boats. They're not designed for trolling. Although yes, we've had you can do that obviously whilst holding the rod. Now, in order to get trolling working properly, we would want, I want the way I want it to work is for it to be a different boat that is set up with those pole holders, those rod holders, and that sort of ability to do the trolling. So it will be kind of a different driving experience and mechanic that works with it. Just wondered. What they call them? So when you're trolling, if you're out trolling for muskie and stuff, you sometimes I've seen people using these sort of line sinkers where they drag the line down deeper so that it doesn't get caught with the other lines that you're putting out on that. Just wondered how important people thought those were, or whether just having 3 rods and being able to put 3 rods off the back of your boat and then be able to troll with them would be sufficient. Also interested as to what sort of speeds you would want to go trolling for salmon and trout and muskie, those sorts of things. Callan Johnson wants us to put their names on the jerseys.
That'd be cool.
Which would be good. I had a similar thing I needed to talk to somebody about, actually. Just get my notebook out. Okay. Yeah, downriggers. That's it. That's it, Misaka. How important are the downriggers to the trolling experience? That's the question. And what settings would you have to give control over? I just wondered, like the balance between being authentic and realistic versus the gameplay. The gameplay balances of that.
He's missed that part of the stream.
So Nathan wants me to publicly flog somebody. The dude who keeps messing with the online tournaments. Right, what have I got?
I'm sure that's against terms of service somewhere.
You are?
I'm sure it's against terms of service.
Against terms of service. I went like, this is a family-friendly stream, so there will be no flogging of co-hosts on the stream. Plus, it's probably a HR issue if I kind of get dragged into that sort of thing. So.
Hanu, you can log into. When you say you can log into a Dovetail game site, you're talking about Dovetail Live or a support system? They've got different logins. I'd love to have them both on the same system, but they're not at the moment.
Oh, that holy grail of single sign-in.
Yeah.
Yeah, see the trouble with that Gilroy. Gilroy's talking about editable names on the back of the jersey.
You need to then support that in all the languages we support.
So the trouble when you've got stuff like that. So obviously our game is a 3+ PEGI rated, and if you go into multiplayer and had a thing where you could effectively puts rude words in there, that could mean that the age rating changes. Obviously you can use swear filters like we do in the game already has kind of swear filters on it, which is annoying because you can't type bass into your tackle box.
Nope.
Because it pulls out the name, the word, takes the B off and calls it a swear word.
At least we know it works.
Okay, I'll have a think about that. Lake Ontario in Croatia DLC. Is there actually a Lake Ontario in Croatia? I saw someone mention
a couple of times.
This is the only Cobra. It must be the guy that was on the Facebook page.
Possibly,
and put that same post.
So last week when the stream was on, I popped in on my own account rather than the work account, and saying that a news article came out saying they think Loch Ness was a giant eel, which probably put Darren off going to Scotland anytime soon. We should put it in the game somehow.
So Hanu, when you've lost a £3.5 pound bass with an £80 line, it's not that it's cut the line, it's that it's spat the hook. Okay. Whenever you hook a fish, you get the hook. When you hook a fish, you get the hook quality gets set, and that gets set differently depending on whether you get a perfect strike, a good strike, or a poor strike. So that's effectively the starting health of your hook, and then every time the tension bar hits the top or the bottom and you get the little exclamation mark, that then takes some health points off your hook health, and effectively the hole is getting bigger and the hook is getting looser, and as you keep hitting the top or the bottom of the tension meter, the hook's getting looser and looser until eventually it comes out. So it's nothing to do with the line snapping. The line does not snap at all in the game. The fish get off the hook. The only difference is when a giant fish, a big catfish or a big arapaima takes you out over 220 yards, then you run out of line on your reel. Now you can always, if you've got 80-pound line and a decent rod, you can always stop a fish from taking you out over 220 yards, and to do that you need to watch the tension meter, notice when the fish is having a lull in its energy, it's being less active, the tension drops a little bit. At that point, crank up the drag, constantly reel and pump the rod up and down, lifting it up and down. A 13-foot rod will do this quicker and easier than a 10 or 11-foot rod, and that way you can effectively, you're dragging every time you lift the rod, you're dragging the fish a bit closer, and then you're reeling it and keeping it a bit closer. So that is the way to do that.
I feel like a change of lake. So what do people want to see?
What's right? Yeah, I can bet he caught a 485-pound arapaima with a 40-pound line. Took him a while. I can imagine it did.
Yeah. Oh, we've got a Gillums and a Raspberry. Any other votes? Second one for Gillums. Third one for Gillums. I think Gillums is going to win. Let's go on Gillums.
Go to Gillums. It's a stunning venue.
Yes.
So someone was asking about jerkbaits. Mason, what jerkbaits specifically are you looking for? Let me know.
Catch 16-pounder from Seminole. Haven't they been trying that for the past 2-3 weeks?
So I keep seeing people saying about pike out of Gigantica. Gigantica isn't really a pike venue. Yes, there are a few in there, but it's not somewhere you would go to try and catch big pike. It's a carp venue. It's like one of the meccas for carp fishing in Europe. It's not a piking venue.
There's not many in there, aren't
there? So yeah, Callon's asking for some bass jigs for deep water, slow fishing. So I might have been working on some potential bass jigs to put in. More news on dates for that when I can share it. They want more information on where the boss bass are, Stephen.
Okay.
How many boss bass have you released the top secret last known whereabouts information for?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I tried to mix it up in that list so it's not just the
Daytona. Have you seen? So what's he on here? He's on that's
Mixer.
Daytona 1973. He's even older than me on Mixer. Have you seen the web page that Stephen's done where he's sort of updating and adding more and more information about where the boss fish are located?
Wrong one.
So that's on the Dovetail website.
On Dovetail Live, yeah.
On Dovetail Live website, Daytona. Have a look at that. That's got all the ones that it's been released so far. I don't know what Luke's asking about there. What's the point? Not sure what the question is. So Gilroy, the Predator event on Valty, that will become possibly a bit easier when I reduce the length of time it takes to reel the pike in. That could help you there. I do not have any dates I can give you for a float update, Mike, I'm afraid. Oh, I get it. Luke's answering Daytona up there. Right. Gotcha. I can see that. Okay, right. Okay. Right. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
What Nathan's saying?
No, just that. Putting together
the conversation.
Yeah.
So Nathan is with the old UI. You used to be able to see the more details on the upcoming event. So at the moment, you can just see sort of what lake it's going to be. Whereas previously, you used to be able to see the weather conditions and the time of day. So, Nathan, this is the man that can tell you all that information. At the moment, he'll have to do it via the wonderful medium of social media. Ooh, we haven't had that for a while. But Wobbly Captain is saying, do we plan on updating the line physics? Be great if you can. I would love to update the line physics, Wobbly Captain. I'm hoping that is something we can get to. Yeah, the line physics is a funny one. It gets on the processing side, it gets really expensive. You imagine, a section of line is broken down into tiny little bits that have then all got to react. And there'd be calculations about constantly going on about how it needs to behave and whatnot. Because that was my initial cause when I first discovered that there was only 220 yards of line on the reel. I was like, well, let's put more line on, and it's not as simple as that because if you imagine that there's by just by putting more lines on, that's more processing that it's having to do all the time, and basically it was affects performance of the graphics engine and the calculations. So it's a kind of balancing game between how it works and then how it performs. I'm going to say something here, Stephen. I think you've got all your rigs too close together.
Yeah.
See, unless you're going to heavily spod that area up and bring the fish into you, you might as well be spreading them about a bit and getting greater lake coverage, so you're more likely for a fish. Having said that, I think you've got one on line 3. Yeah, I'll definitely spread that out a bit. How many of those are dead? Well, you got
1 dead bait and then 2 boilies.
2 boilies.
Link and tiger nuts.
Why didn't you stick a large double sweet corn on one of them? See if you can get.
I'm not sure I've got that unlocked.
It's fine. You can buy it from the shop. The big sweet corn, amazing for the amazing for the Mekong. In fact. Okay. Yeah, I get what you're saying now, Luke. That's why we haven't done it. Well, the way I want the boss fish to work is I want you guys to be telling each other and sharing the information and showing off your boss catches, and then this man here can shout you out and call you a hero for finding them, and then sharing your information. So that's great. If Nathan says, "Get your finger out, Stephen." He didn't say it. He shouted it.
Yes.
So do
He's
that.
very angry.
Stephen, are you going to ever add rate to the online tournaments?
I should. I always just put it on dynamic. I should change it to either clear sky or heavy cloud.
Brian says he spent the last 6 weeks chasing Marshall 3 hours a day and still no sign of him. Wow. We ran that competition and we announced where the location he was, and someone caught him within a few hours, didn't they?
He went in with the Pro Tour update, and then the following day someone had caught him.
So Callon says that he loves the online tournaments, but it seems too common and unrealistic to catch a 13 plus pound bass a tournament. So for those of you who've been playing Seminole and Jordan, I think you'll find in those lakes that the ratio of huge bass to common size or smaller one, normal size bass, is a lot lower. So they're catching the big ones is a much more rare event. I believe next week, Stephen, isn't it? Or Monday, we've got Lake Seminole coming up in the bass tournament, haven't we?
Yes.
So it'll be interesting to see how the the winning size sized bag comes in for that event. Going forward, that's what I would like. How I'd like it to behave and play. Like you're suggesting. We want the huge bass in there, but we just want them to be a lot rarer to catch. So that is the plan. Now, if I was to just go back to the existing lakes, Lake Boulder or whatever, any of the existing ones, and then start removing some of the larger bass or a big portion of the larger bass, that might because the whole of career mode has been balanced on the available fish that you have to fish for, it would mean sort of going back in and rebalancing all the scores that the AI get, because effectively you're going to have less chance to get such high scores. But it is a tactic that I am serious about making a bigger part of the game, where the bigger bass are fewer and further between and therefore more rewarding. And it should, when it comes to the online events, it should make a real big difference if you get a 15-16 pounder up in your bag. That should make you excited. See, like Mason says, he wants to be excited to catch a 5 pound bass. I think my record is only 2.5. I think I had a bigger one, but it got off. I didn't set the hook well enough. I was gutted and angry with myself. Big Timer reckons he's got his spot on Seminole. £70 plus scores. Magnificent 3000 caught Jackson on Guntersville.
Send it to us on Facebook or somewhere.
We haven't announced that one, have we?
I'm not sure.
Did we announce Jackson?
Okay.
Have you seen what fish this is yet?
Siamese carp.
Is it?
Yeah. Jackson might be in the list already.
So yes, Hanu, that would be from the online tournament and not from the career mode. That Angling Tycoon earn over $1 million career earnings from the Dovetail Fishing League. So that is inside the online events. Have you big? I'm not reading that. Someone on YouTube has asked, "Have you guys thought about adding music into that game?" So this is a fishing simulator. You know, we don't go through like pumping music in sort of when you're fighting a fish to sort of make it more exciting and whatnot. Like when you go fishing for real, you know, if you want, you can put your little stereo on next to you. You can wear your headphones. I sort of treat this like the same way. I mean, you know, everyone's going to have their different tastes in music. I certainly don't want to go out spending money to buy licensed music to put in the game that you just then turn the volume down on because you don't like my brand of hip hop. So, and
that would be all that you'd get out of Des.
Yeah, I'd serve you up some banging tunes. I'll tell you that much. But and I'd give you a right education, and I'm sure a lot of you would really appreciate it. But you know, but still, effectively, I mean, I would like it on the boat. You know, you'd be able to cruise around playing tunes off your boat. But in reality, as anyone who's been on a bass boat, you got that 250 horsepower engine about 4 foot behind your head, cranking like you can't hear anything. You can't even hear yourself think. So
and wind noise.
And the wind, yeah. I could probably do some Punjabi MCing as well if you want. I've got all those skills.
So what was the one I said? Jackson on Gunnersville.
Jackson and Gunnersville. Have we done Jackson and Gunnersville? Who is it? Who said it? I forgot his name.
Person on the chat.
It was
Georgia from Seminole. Let's make a note of these names.
Right. Yes. So who is it? Who caught Jackson on Gunnersville? Send in. Did you screenshot it? If you've got a screenshot, send it in via the Facebook page, or tag me or Stephen in the community groups or whatever, and we will release that information this time next week, maybe.
Yeah, maybe on Friday.
Or maybe on Friday.
Usually do updates to it on Fridays.
So yeah, if you've got any good trophy fish that you've caught, and you want to share that information amongst your fellow players, then get those screenshots over to Stephen. Let him know where you caught them. Potentially what equipment what lure or bait you're using as well, and then Stephen will get a post out, and you might even get a shout out, and thanked for sending in the locations.
Magnificent 3000. That's who said it.
Magnificent 3000. Yes, wildlife like alligators and ducks would be good. So Alex S he's asking about extending the career mode tournament timers. I sort of explained the slight difficulty in doing that and then having to rebalance all the scores that the AI get. So it's a slightly tricky thing. Just out of interest, when you sit down for a session of to play fishing for a session, how long do you normally play for? Be sort of interested to hear what session times. See, 40 minutes to an hour is probably too long. Over anything over 40 minutes is probably too long for a tournament time. Because especially when you consider that when you get, some of you might not have made it up to the elite level yet, but those tournaments are most of them are 3 rounds. So if you were to do 3 hour-long tournaments, for example, that's a lot of time. So yeah. That's not Byron from The Office on YouTube, is it? Does he ever watch the stream?
Not that I know of. Got a little red tail.
Wobbly Captain is asking if we can limit the line size in the weekly Bass Tour. The answer is no. I do not have those controls in the tournament setup screens that we use. I can see why you might want it, and it would be a good feature for me to have. I don't have it. There is a save feature between the different rounds now, isn't there? You can save between rounds now if you quit out. That went out. That went out. Yeah, Luke, I think it does have save between rounds. So when career mode first came out, it didn't have the save in between rounds, but now it should save between rounds.
Number 3 keeps going off. I might have to move over to that side of the lake.
Did you catch an X? I wasn't watching. Did you catch a red tail?
Yeah, a little 36-pound red tail.
Mm.
Come over here, friend.
Do you know what Nathan's gamer tag is?
Nath something. Nath and some numbers, I think.
Yeah, Toka Kato does smash things up quite a lot. Phil had a good month, didn't he, on the old Bass one? Getting his comeback in after missing week 1. I'd quite like to see some footage of. I think Toka Kato should stream some of his DFL attempts. If we did muskie only tournaments, is Toka Kato still going to come out on top, or is somebody else going to step up and knock him off the perch? I currently don't have a fix for the camera shake, Luke. It's something I need to recreate consistently in a development environment. At the moment, it seems to be related to drop packages or dips in sort of connectivity, which then leaves the host and the client out of sync, and then it's kind of constantly sort of battling to try and be in sync, and then it's ends up with that juttering. So yes, I am aware of it. I got sent a video the other day as well, which I sent round to all the QA people. So it's something it's something I definitely want fixed. I mean, obviously what's happening with the multiplayer in the game is obviously one of you's the host and then obviously the rest of you are clients. Now, ideally, what that would be the host is on a server somewhere and not reliant on one of you to be the host, and then everybody's connecting as the clients. So it's then, it's the same experience for all players within the game, and the server can take care of a lot of processing, and then we can have better performance for everybody and more players in the event. That is what I would like. I can't tell you when I'm going to get it or when I can get it to you, but yes, it's definitely something we would want to do and something I'm looking into. Luke, does it happen for you whenever you play, or like do you have it where you play with certain people who've got really good internet and it works fine, and then others that whenever you play with them it's always bad because of poor internet? Let me just... Yep, Keith, people have asked for rivers and for sea fishing. Yes.
I'm double checking all of the tournaments when I put them out now.
Keep bashing him, Scooby, keep bashing him.
And the first one wasn't messed up. The messaging to support it just didn't go out. So it's not all my fault.
Who did the messaging, Stephen?
It was meant to be Mark and Darren. So.
Oh, was it?
It's what happens when I go off for a week. It just all falls apart.
So where's Mo? Where are you from? Just out of curiosity. Just interested in the people that like the bass fishing, people who like the other styles of fishing, and where you come from, and cool. Yeah, see, I've looked at putting Indian, whether we put Indian venue, or some other Asian venues in the game, and you kind of look at India and countries like that, and but fishing isn't a sport out there really. It's it's not something you do for the fun and the battle of you with a rod in your hand and going with light equipment trying to catch these fish. It's done for food with nets and stuff like that. It's not really a sport fishing environment, but would love to find some interesting venues with interesting fish to target out there. IEDs.
Do I have some TP now? Yes, lots. Alright, let's get a sweet one.
Right, how long are we going for? Because I've got more work to do.
Do another like 15 minutes ish. I always forget to confirm it afterwards. I've not got enough for the £80 yet.
Okay, so Hanu wants a Finnish lake in the game. Have you got any lakes you could recommend, Hanu, that I can take a look at? And also, yeah, and what sort of What sort of species would that be? Would that be like a pike, zander, salmon type venue? Rapala lures. We don't have any. We don't have the Rapala brand. We've got. We don't have the license. There is a. They sold out their exclusivity, sort of, I believe, the license exclusivity to another company. We have lures in the game that are similar type diving crankbaits and whatnot to Rapala lures. I think we've got those covered. So Mohammed's up in Lincolnshire. He's lying to me. He's not in India. So for Canada, we're getting Eagle Lake recommended. We've had that a few times. Scooby. Scooby's trying to make you put Lake Minnewanka in. So what Arkansas lakes would you like? What Arkansas lakes would you want?
Des just wants to know for his next research trip. River Thames. Oh, River Tame. That might be something different. That's probably something different.
Is that River Thames or River Tame? The River Thame's a place that's possibly just off the River Thames. But yeah, I would. Yeah, thanks for the comments, RCJ_70. Glad you're enjoying the game. Oh, Staffordshire tame. I'm thinking more of more Oxfordshire. There's a tame down Oxfordshire way. Someone else asking for Lake of the Ozarks.
I saw a video of people fishing on the Birmingham canals. That'd be quite a cool addition.
The what, sorry?
I saw someone fishing on the canals in Birmingham.
Right.
And catching pike. That could be cool.
Ah. So that Lake Dardan, how did you say that? Dardanelle. Lake Dardanelle. I saw that was on the that was either on the FLW schedule or the Bassmaster schedule, I believe. No is the answer to your question there, Musaka. Lake Arnold is not loosely based on Dale Hollow. Scooby, have you added up the number of lakes that are on both the European side and the American side of the game at all? I think you'll find it's pretty even. Right.
Well, we got 13 bass lakes now.
K12.
No.
Out of those Arkansas lakes that you're mentioning there, are there any of them that have got new interesting fish species that are on top of the species we've already got in the game? Oh. Magnificent 3000 said, magnificent. Sturgeon is on the list. Where would you most like to fish for sturgeon? If we were to put them in the game. Where would you want to go fishing for sturgeon? Big Timer J would rather have a stock pond.
And if you could have one new species to go on that stock pond, what would it be?
Achim saying in Romania there's a private lake that's a bit like Gillam's. What's the name of that, Achim? And has it got nice exotic species in it?
Doesn't hear about it.
Yeah, I've looked at Lake St Clair. It's absolutely ginormous. What's the name of it, Achim?
I was reading about beluga sturgeon. They're massive. Oh. Okay, let's not throw that one so far out. Found my stock pond full of eels.
So so when I'm looking at because we when we recreate a lake, we're sort of doing it one for one size. We don't take a lake and then sort of shrink it down. Now, I generally, if the widest section is kind of over a kilometre or anything like that in distance, then it means it ends up looking boring when you're driving around, because all the detail and the interesting parts on the bank the other side are miles away and take you a few minutes to get across there in the boat. So it's a tricky decision sometimes picking there's all these lakes we want to get to, but the lakes also have to work for the game and be a interesting environment that's gonna be both visually appealing and have lend themselves to good gameplay, as they're going to be lots of points of structure for me to try and fish around and things like that. So there's a lot that kind of goes into it. So Magnificent wants Lake Norman. He wants it so bad he typed the message 3 times. 4 times. Here we go. Mason is saying peacock bass would be a good addition. I'm well keen for peacock bass. They are beautiful, and they fight really hard and jump. Yes. Big Timer, I cannot give any timelines on stock pond or dedicated servers. I wish I could. I would hate to tell you something and then have to tell you it's not coming when I told you it's coming. So it's better if I just don't give you any dates. Striped bass is on the list as well. Yes. There we go. What? Elwood, both. Anyone caught a bowfin? A bowfin fun to fish for? Right. How many did you catch then, Stephen?
Not many, I don't know. 3. Got quite a few levels up. The beauty of Gillums. Many big fish.
Did he come back with the name of that Romanian lake?
I don't think so.
Yeah, but are they good fun? Are they fun to fight? Do they fight hard? Do they do interesting stuff? Lake Norman was in North Carolina. See, that's it. Another one. You know, Lake Okeechobee is just a big round circle. It's not. I mean, I keep looking at it. It doesn't lend itself great for the gameplay. Now, even if I shrunk it down, it would still have a big round bit.
Both in. That's why I can't find it. I'm looking for the wrong thing. Oh, they look cool.
Okie right. And eels get you covered in slime. Arctic char. They're basically massive red salmon related things. Ooh, ling. Big Timer J is asking for named trophy carp on USA lakes and give us pegs to fish from. Or maybe a boat that acts like a peg. Could work. Yes, Big Timer, I would like to do that. Duff Badger wants Angler's Paradise. Hanu's saying in Lake Sama in Finland, they've got grayling, pike, lake salmon, lake trout, perch, bream, Arctic char, roach, whitefish, and ling. Oh, Ruth's just logged on. Where have you been, Ruth? We've been waiting for you. It's like, I've been like, where's she been? God damn. Yeah, that's Scottish. Oh, we'll let you off for working, Ruth. Should be working. I guess this is sort of working.
We're at work.
We're at work. I'm getting paid. I'm not doing my day job. I'm doing another one of my side tasks. Oh, you know, it's like we never switch off, do we? No. Go home, sit there, watching fishing videos, researching more stuff. Damn webcams. Right. Okay. Anything else? Have you got anything? Right. What's happening next, Stephen?
What's next? So I'm getting closer to setting up a Discord server. If anyone has any interesting naming ideas that are family friendly, send them over because I was thinking earlier and mind went blank.
What's your Discord server going to do, Stephen?
It's going to be a place for everyone to kind of be in one place in a group. You can talk to your fellow anglers. We'll have voice channels, text channels. You can send your bug reports and any support issues to us, and just find people to play with as well. So it should be a good time. I'll be getting that set up very soon.
And you're going to announce some more trophy fish locations?
Yes, Friday I'll update the article. Anyone has any named trophy catches in the meantime, send them over.
And you're going to call out thank the people that
Yes.
send them in.
That's
it. So send in your trophy catches, and then Stephen can share the catch location information with the rest of the community, and we all work together to tick these off. Because
I think
you've got to catch them all.
Let me check.
He's going on.
I can see it. It's my phone. I want to check something.
Scooby, I can't afford to do all the research in the pub, so yeah, unfortunately not. Right.
Okay, not yet. Oh wait, yeah.
What is it?
So PlayStation America is on sale at the moment.
There's a sale?
Yes.
Wow.
So it's the Pro Tour Plus Quad Lake Pass bundle and a few of the add-ons. Let's see. So Road Lake, Lake Arnold, Bestie and Lake Williams are all on sale, as well as Core and Quad Lake Pass bundle. Yes, that is live now on
new
PlayStation
sale on PlayStation US. Important question from Umofo. He's saying, has anyone caught Lil Don from Del Mundo?
I'm not sure.
That sounds like part of a lyric in an Umbungo song. Lil Don is one of my favourites. Son of Megalodon. He's
I think I have seen it caught. It's
Come on.
in quite an unusual position compared to the others.
Big Timer has asked that he mess up the tournaments a bit more.
Okay.
He didn't really. Yeah. Right. So the gold lures all came as part of the deluxe edition.
Yes.
They in terms of the game code, they have a metallic metallic material applied to them, so they're going to be slightly better during bright conditions, I believe. Right.
Shall we go back to other work?
Yes. Right. Thanks a lot for everyone for tuning in. That's another Dovetail stream done on a Tuesday. I don't know when I'll be next back. Possibly next week, possibly the week after. Depends on whose turn it is, who's on holiday, who's available, what cool stuff we got to show you. Yeah. But yeah, as always, hit us up on the Facebook pages, on the Twitter pages. Hassle Stephen. Tag me in if you need. Keep coming in with your ideas, your feedback. As always, it's very much appreciated. And good to speak to you all. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.